Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today's video, we're going to go deep, straight to the point, where we talk about the reason why you're not making sales. There's not going to be any magic pill. There's not going to be any magic formula. There's not going to be any selling of any kind. I'm not going to tell you go buy a course, go buy a book to find the solutions. I'm not going to tell you any of that. Now, I'm going to drop a few links, some free courses we're going to link to eventually when I mention them because they will become of use to you in your journey. And all the links that I do mention, you could choose to use them or choose not to use them. I'll also give you different links of things that make life easier for me as I'm going through the journey of print on demand. But we're not going to be playing games here today. We're going to get straight to the point on exactly how to get to the money when it comes down to print on demand. After this video, and this is a video that I want to make for a long time now, after this video, there really should be no question as to what you should be doing next, or there should be no question as to, how can I move forward into success with print on demand, okay? We're going to be literally outlining everything you need to know, and like I said, there will be links mentioned. Some of them are going to be free. Some of them are going to be paid, different tools and things like that. But this is not me selling you on anything. This is me simply guiding you in the right direction to explain what you need to know for print on demand. So just give me a shot here. Give me a chance, and I promise you're not going to regret watching this video. Okay? So if you've been watching me for a long time, you know that I stand on this concept. And the concept is that with print on demand and all forms of print on demand, you have essentially four core tenets. And these four core tenets, I use them as pillars for a house, right? And I use these pillars as foundation points for a house. Once you connect these four pillars, you essentially have a decent foundation. And the reason why I use the word decent is because it's not going to be perfect. There's always more things that you can add, but there's going to be a decent foundation to your approach. And this is the way I think about everything. But with print on demand, let's get into it, okay? So you want to keep in mind that I don't even know what I did here. You want to keep in mind that there are going to be these four core principles or four core tenets, right? So let's just leave it at that, four core tenets. Now let's go ahead and talk about what the first core tenet is. And let's talk about design. When you're working with print on demand, this might sound logical to some people, but when you're working with print on demand, and we're just going to circle this one here, okay? The first aspect is the quality of your design. Now, there's really no question about this. There's a lot of people who can sit here and argue with me that this does or doesn't matter. But the truth is, people don't buy unattractive things. There's no question about it. We cannot sit here and say logically that if you're going to go on Redbubble, that you're going to just purchase products out of emotions of charity. Nobody does that. People buy what they like. People buy what they want. You can't force people into buying garbage. It's just point blank, period. So people, and we can make a consensus here, that over 90% of people on Redbubble, on Zazzle, on Teepublic, on Merch by Amazon, they're going to buy designs that they find pleasing. Can we all agree on that? Can we all come to a consensus and say yes on this? The reason why I say that is because obviously this is not a need-based customer. We're not looking for need-based customers here. With the game of print on demand, if somebody needs a shirt, they could go down to Walmart, Target, whatever, and buy a t-shirt for $5. Hell, they even sell t-shirts at the dollar store now, the Dollar Tree. So it's not that people need these designs, but they want these designs. And when you go to a want-based customer or an interest-based customer, consumers are only going to purchase what they prefer. So the first core tenet is design. So let's just go over here and type in design. Now, obviously, we have this whole argument of, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. We have the argument that, everybody likes different things. And to a point, we can agree on small things where, yes, beauty is in the beholder, all these kind of great things. But we know for a fact that beauty is relatively objective, not subjective. we can look at two different designs, right? Let's say there's one design that's pixelated and one design that's abundantly clear. We can look at these two different designs and we can sit here and say, yep, the one on the right looks better because it's not pixelated. With design, there's going to be certain things that come into play that we can objectively say X is better than Z, or A is better than B, or C is better than D, right? We can objectively say these certain things. And you don't need me to list them out. These are commonsensical things. When you upload a design to, for example, Redbubble, you want to have the background transparent. You want to have it non-pixelated. You want to have all these different things, right? So I don't need to sit here and list very, very beginner details. You know, when you create a piece of work or a product of work, you know how it stacks up against the competition, okay? As long as those things are taken care of, the core basis of design, non-pixelated, transparent background, fits on the product correctly, then at that point is, yes, it's in the eye of the beholder, it's based on preference, etc. But design is the first aspect. Let's go ahead and head over to the second core tenet, right? Which is, in our case, finding your design. Now, the reason why I say finding your design as opposed to SEO, tagging, or things like that, because finding the design, right, is everything coming together. The SEO, the tags, right? And I'm not going to write these out, but SEO, tagging, titling, these are different ways that consumers can find your design. If we forget about these other two core tenets here, just for a second, guys. Let's just say these were the only two core tenets, design and finding the design. Design quality and the ability to find the design. If we just negated one of them, what we would be doing is we would be negating the opportunity to even be successful. We would be negating the potential to even make money. Can we agree on that? Some people might say, well, give me an example. I'll give you an example. So let's say you have the most beautiful design in the world, right? Well, that means in this case we would be passing the threshold for design, right? But let's say that most beautiful design in the world wasn't seen by anybody. Nobody can find it. Let's say I title it XYZJK LMPQ 1237994. Who is searching for that? The answer is nobody. Nobody on the whole World Wide Web, the internet, is searching for something like that. And so therefore, nobody would ever find that design. So what that means in that case, we fulfilled one of the requirements, but we didn't fulfill the second. Which basically means, from what I'm trying to say here, is that both of these core tenets is very, very crucial to maximize your output in both of these core tenets to the highest skill, to the best of your ability, so that you can potentially try to improve your success at the best level. Okay? So we have the design quality, and then we have the ability to find the design. Now, like we said, for the ability to find the design, we have the Redbubble tagging course. I'm not selling you. I'm simply just saying that it does exist, where we show people how to gain traffic using tagging, using SEO, using titling, right? Understanding Google, so that we can not only gain traffic from Redbubble itself, but from Google as well. So they come together in unison. Something that I've said before, and I will keep saying, is ever since I got quote-unquote good with print on demand, specifically Redbubble, 70 to 80% of my traffic comes purely from organic. And organic, I loop them into two things, where if you search something on Google and you find my design, that's organic. If you search something on Redbubble and you find my design, that's organic. So the organic Redbubble search and the organic Google search, 70 to 80% of my traffic comes from those two segments. Now, a lot of people have seen me gain a lot of success with social media with print on demand. They've seen things like 300 visits a week, 300 visits every couple of days, 500 visits, 1,000 visits through social media. That has happened to me in spite of, or not in spite of, but still, even through and through, with a developed store, still having 70 to 80% of my traffic. So from organic. So I want you to picture here, if I'm getting something like, let's say, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views, sometimes even 6,000 views a month just from social media, right? And social media is a lot of things. Instagram, Pinterest, a lot of things. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But that only makes up the other portion of the traffic. 70 to 80% comes from organic, not from social media. Social media is just the cherry on top, which we'll talk about later, like I said. So really what the takeaway here is, and this is just the beginning, but you need to have both of these together. Let's just say for a second that I had the most worst design in the world. The garbage, like straight up trash design. Pixelated, doesn't fit right, looks ugly. But let's say I have the best tagging, the best titling, right? The best ways that people can find my design. What are my chances of success? I might have a little bit more success than the first scenario, but I'm not going to have that much success. In both scenarios, if one of these are missing, right, and you have one or the other, you're still not going to be moving the needle. Everybody gets into print on demand for one reason and one reason only, and that is to achieve more financial freedom. For some people, that's $500. For some people, that's $2,000. For some people, it's $5,000. It differs for everybody, but nobody gets into print on demand to make 20 cents a month. Nobody does that. Nobody gets into print on demand to make $2 a month. I don't care if you're even in a third world country. We can all agree on this. The people who are even in third world countries, they still want to make a significant amount of income. So I want to preface this whole entire video from this point on that we're putting in our mind that we want to actually move the needle with our lives. We want to be able to not only produce income, but see our lives flourish through the income. We want to be able to say no to going to work, or quit our jobs, or drive the new car, or pay the bills through the power of print on demand. And that might be different for everybody. Like I said, some people, maybe their goal is just to be able to pay off the groceries, the light bill, the gas bill, the water bill through this. Some other people want to go full-time in this and they never want to do anything else. Some people just want to pay their insurance on their vehicle. Everybody's different, right? But I'm saying to really move the needle, to see results that you can actually take benefit of through your life, you're going to need both. You're not gonna be able to do one or the other, okay? Now, the third thing, right, from design and finding the amount of designs, is you're going to have to do this in scale, okay? You're going to have to do this at a certain level, and we're going to go ahead and go with this one. You're going to have to do this at an apparent level of success, meaning a numerical, quantifiable level. Meaning, if somebody says, hey, how are you doing with print on demand? How much scale do you have? You're going to say 1,000, 5,000, 15,000, 20,000 designs, right? You're going to say a number that's quantifiable, not a number that's, oh, yeah, I'm doing great, or I'm doing okay, or I'm doing good. No, a quantifiable number. And to have that quantifiable number, we need to understand that we need to do steps number 1 and 2 in scale, right? We have to have good designs, and we have to have the ability that people can find these designs properly with a large amount of scale, meaning we have to do this over and over and over and over again until we get to a point where we achieve certain numbers that we want to achieve, right? We have to get it to a certain level where, yes, the design quality is up to par and the customers are able to find our designs properly, and we have to do this at high levels, high quantities, to where it now starts to create its own momentum. And this is the important keyword here. Momentum is that you're not going to achieve momentum unless you do it at certain levels. Now, guys, there are going to be other YouTubers that you will listen. You can go to videos right here, right now, today, on YouTube, and see other people's philosophies, and other people will tell you that you don't need to do a whole lot of work to be successful with print on demand. You don't need to produce a lot of work, and you don't need to put effort, and you don't need to work hard. I'm here to tell you that I personally have, in my past 2 years with print on demand, have done more work than people have done in 6 years, 7 years. Yet I am personally, in my experience, have found no other way. Have I come up on certain designs where I got lucky and they just did really, really, really well? Absolutely. But that didn't happen to me immediately, And even if it did happen to me immediately, it still wouldn't have, like we said, moved the needle. I would need something that I would, in order to depend on, I would have to put a lot of effort in. And this is, I don't know, guys, maybe it's just me, but every business that I've really had, not just print on demand, I've really had to work hard for. And I'm sorry to burst certain people's bubbles, but the truth is that you're probably going to have to work hard too. Now, don't get me wrong. There might be 0.2% of the population. When I say 0.2, I'm talking 0.2%, right? Not 2%, 0.2% of the population that, yeah, maybe they created 10 designs, 30 designs, 50 designs, and they were top sellers on Redbubble. Maybe they made even 100 designs or 200 designs and they were top sellers. But I'm here to tell you that's probably not the case for you. Now, like I said, there are other YouTubers who are going to sit here, other quote-unquote gurus who are going to sit here and tell you that, yeah, you can get away with doing 100 designs and all your bills will be paid and you're going to be living a life of, fine and dandy. My recommendation to you, if you're struggling between advice, you're not sure who's right, I would say, let's put it to the test. Why don't you go out there and work for 3 days and create 200 designs? And in those 3 days where you create your 200 designs and post them on Redbubble, as an example, sit back and wait for a year and watch your success. I promise you, the amount of money that you can make more probably in a couple days working at McDonald's, okay? The reason why I even say this is because, like I said, some people are selling this agenda, this idea that you don't actually have to work hard for your success. You can be one of the lucky few that create these designs that just create income in your bank account. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I want to be clear, guys. I want to be very, very clear. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. But for 99.8% of the population, which is the overwhelming majority, right? 99.8%, we are going to have to work and struggle and work hard and sweat and grind it out for our success, for our income, okay? So we have design quality. We have the ability for customers to find our designs, and then we have scale. Well, what's the last part? Well, if we have high quality designs and we are essentially allowing people to find our designs, and we're doing this at a number to where we're amplifying our stats. Every month, the sales just go up and up and up and up. We finally have the fourth part, and I'm going to use the red marker for this, the cherry on top, aka promotion. Okay? Promotion. And what is promotion? Promotion is where you use things like social media, blogging, things like that to promote your business on the outside of these platforms, okay? And once you have these four things connected, and we'll talk about promotion in just a second, but once you have these four things connected, you have now fortified your building or your foundation to where you can connect all of these aspects, and now you have a great foundation, keyword foundation, to begin your business off of. Now, more importantly, guys, the things that I'm saying is not just things that you perform in activity, but these are mindsets and ideologies. The reason why I even say this is because it's not enough to do this for a day, a week, or 2 weeks. This is going to take months, if not years, okay? I want to be able to be honest with you guys, and I want to be clear and just to be honest and just say that to be successful with print on demand, you have to understand that with print on demand, you are literally going to the lowest barrier of entry on the internet. If you want to make money on the internet, one of the easiest ways to get started is print on demand. I'm not saying you're going to get rich, but to get started. With print on demand, you effectively can start for free. Assuming that you have a computer. You can download free softwares. You can do different designs. It might be hell in the beginning because you don't have a lot of tools. You don't have a lot of software. You don't have a lot of information, right? It might be hell because you have to be able to learn these different tools and things like that. But to my point is that you have to understand you're competing with the rest of the world. People in India, in the Philippines, in Nigeria, everywhere. They're all doing print on demand the same way you are. And at the end of the day, the only difference between you and them is your final product on that screen. So you have to understand that whatever country you're coming from, you have to understand that because print on demand is so easy to get into, you're going to have significant amounts of competition. Just to give you an example, the website redbubble.com has over, I'm not even going to speculate. Let's just go ahead and go there and let's check it out. Redbubble.com. If we just hit the search button here and we could see the number of designs currently on the platform, we have 40,742,000 designs, right? And based on my calculation, there are over 1 million sellers on Redbubble. That means 1 million people are just like you on the internet, on this very website, creating designs and selling them as well. So I need you to understand that you cannot get down, you cannot get demotivated, you cannot get, you can't lose inspiration, you can't get depressed because you're simply not successful. You have to understand what aspect of these 4 are you lacking. More importantly, of these 3, because this is just the cherry on top, what aspect of these 3 are you lacking, right? And you need to double down on it. You need to get better, and you need to essentially turn your weaknesses into strengths. Now, I'm not saying this out of bigotry or out of pride. I'm saying this from experience. Everything I talk about here are things that I've done and things that I've seen. I'm not talking about something that I read in a book. Prior to 2022, 2 months prior to 22, I said, I'm going to stop playing games. I'm going to go all out, and I'm going to commit myself to doing 60 designs every day of the week for the whole entire month, starting 1 new store every month on Redbubble. With that, doing other print-on-demand sites. And through this, I've learned how important it is to stay as true as possible and to understand these 4 core tenets and keep them in your mind as much as possible when you're getting to do print on demand. Because you have to understand that you have to beat your competition. Scale is going to be the thing that rises your cream to the top. The only thing is, you'll never rise without the design quality, without people have the ability to find your design. Now, the cherry on top is really the steroid of this business, and this is why I talk about this. I made a few videos before, but this is really the steroid of your business, okay? And I'm going to explain. If you remember, when I mentioned the cherry on top, which is the 4th core tenet, that is really just a bonus or a steroid, I said outside promotion. When I say outside promotion, what I mean is you are helping Google, you're essentially helping yourself. I'm not even going to say you're helping Google. You're helping yourself drive more traffic to your products on print on demand. Now, something I will be honest and upfront with you guys right here, right now, is some people have a problem with this. They have not an ethical or a moral problem, but they have a mental barrier, and they can't really believe in and truly move forward in this idea that they're going to promote their products because they believe that the platform doesn't belong to them. Okay? To my answer to that is, I'm with you. I completely understand where you're coming from. And the reason why I even completely understand is because I know what it feels like to work on platforms that you don't own, like Redbubble, Zazzle, Teepublic, Merch by Amazon. And I also know what it feels like to own your own platform. And obviously, it's sweeter, guys, when you own your own business. It is. There's nobody who can lie to you and say that it's not. It is. However, that comes with costs. That comes with extra energy. That probably, if you haven't begun it, you're probably not going to right now. You probably don't have the time to do so. So we're going to have to negate that feeling, negate that emotion or that mental barrier. And we're going to have to understand that right now we're contributing to our success, to our financial freedom, and to our passive income when we put an effort in promoting outside. Now, promoting outside, or the 4th step, or the 4th core tenet, whatever you want to call it, this cherry on top, is not a requirement. This is the one thing that I would say that's not required to be quote-unquote successful. And like I said, success is different for everybody, but it's simply a figure that moves the needle for you. that accomplishes something, that pays off something for you that you leave as your goal. Obviously, it's different for everybody. Some people want to be full-time income. They want to make a full-time income off of this. Some people just want to pay their grocery bills. Everybody's different, right? But what I'm saying is the fourth step, the fourth, aspect here, the fourth tenet, it is not required. It is simply a bonus or a steroid. Very similar to the individual that goes to the gym, works out, trains hard, diets properly or eats properly, gets the right sleep. Steroids is not a requirement for them to grow muscle, but it will skyrocket their results. And when I say skyrocket, I am not exaggerating. I'm being very serious here. And I'll give you a few examples. Pinterest is an example, okay? With Pinterest, you can promote your work through your designs and things like that through Pinterest. And I've shown tutorials on how to do this. You can go to Pinterest. You can go to Place It. You can create your little mock-ups and things like that. You take those images, you put them on Pinterest. They are different, so they get some attention on Pinterest. The people through Pinterest click. They find your product. It can get you more attention, etc. Not just Pinterest. You have Instagram as an example. Okay, Instagram. After Instagram, you have Facebook, okay? You have Twitter, you have TikTok. All these things are outside promotional methods. If you want to get a little bit more creative, you have Facebook groups, you have blogging, you have all these different things. Now, these things will require you to put either some sort of investment, whether it be time, money, effort, etc. The reason why I even say that is because let's say Instagram, for example. I can easily learn how to promote and do Instagram myself, or I could just simply pay somebody to do it. Or I could learn how to do it and use a tool to help me through the process, right? So all I'm saying is it will require investment in time, investment in money, investment in effort. It will require all three. If I want to do Pinterest, we all know that I can't, well, maybe we don't all know this, but you're not going to be able to succeed with Pinterest doing one pin a day. It's just not going to work. There are certain strategies that are associated with Pinterest. You're going to have to put in some effort. There are certain tools that can help you do that, right? There are certain things that you could do to help you succeed in that arena. That requires effort. That requires money. Same thing with blogging. With blogging, you have to have skill on some sort of level. You also need money. You need money for hosting. You need money for a domain name, right? You need to learn how to actually do the blog. And besides even learning, you have to actually invest the effort, the actual time to sit down, get the articles written, and more importantly, not just get them written, but do it properly to get it ranked on Google. This is why I say there's many moving parts to this business. But these are all bonuses. What I would recommend is that you conquer the first three first before you move on to the fourth. Now, there are some people that like to cheat the system, which it does work for them. But unfortunately, they're losing out on the truth and the essence of print on demand when they do this. And let me explain what I mean. In the world, I'll just use an example. In the world of YouTube, my YouTube channel, I've shown different methods as to how to make money off of Instagram with print on demand. And when I say how to make money, we're talking literally with a couple of clicks. You can click a few buttons and you will get results, whether it be followers. Well, here's the thing. When you get followers, that is an indication that sales are coming, right? People have taken this quote-unquote cheat code, because it really is a cheat code. I mean, it is a cheat code. They take this cheat code and they forget about the other three aspects. They forget about design, they forget about tags, they forget about scale, and then they only focus on the cheat code, the cherry on top. And they invest all their time, all their money, all their effort in the cheat code, in Instagram. And yes, they're making sales, but I tell them this. Imagine, for some reason, if your Instagram account is gone, it disappears. Or if this method of marketing is gone, it disappears. And what I'm talking about, guys, is I'm talking about the Instagram bot tools. So you have botsandapps.gumroad.com. You have igbots.org. These are two websites where you can buy tools that will do marketing for you. They'll essentially gain traffic for you, okay? They're cheat codes, and that's really what they are. They get you attention, okay? Now, yes, people can easily just pay $119, set up the tool, start getting followers. Within a week, they got their first sale, etc. But really what they're losing out and what they're missing out on is the aspect that you have to master these three to be truly good at print on demand. You have to do that. If you are relying on all your sales coming from the Instagram bot, what if there's a situation where one day that method of marketing disappears? What do? You go back to ground zero? You go to nothing because you don't understand how to design properly, or how to, not even design properly, tag properly, for example? Because let's just be honest, if you have the best designs, let's say you created 70 designs, which is really not much of any scale. Let's say you created 70 designs and you're marketing them with your Instagram bot. And let's just say after a year, you're getting 10, 20 sales a day. Well, perfectly practical. It's not something that sounds crazy. Let's say you're doing that. Let's say the Instagram bot, something happens. It doesn't work anymore. Instagram shuts down. Whatever the case may be, right? Something drastic, right? Then what? You don't know how to tag, so you don't know how to drive traffic. So now you're back to ground zero. So what my point here is that before you engage in these quote-unquote cheat codes, do not play yourself, do not fool yourself. You need to learn the basics first. Now, there are some people who have not learned the basics first and have not mastered the basics, which are the first three, and they go straight into the cheat codes. To those individuals, I plead with you, I beg of you, for your own safety, for your own knowledge, for your own goodness, take the time to invest into these three. Learn how to create designs that are actually attractive, that people actually want to pay money for. Learn how to create designs that people can actually find through Google or through Redbubble. Learn how to tag properly. Learn how to title properly. Learn how to drive traffic from Google. Learn how to do these things. And then finally, learn how to do this at a level where you're doing this every single day at a high quantity every day, so that after a year, after 2 years, after 3 years, you've done enough work where it's a cushion of passive income where you can achieve those goals that you have always wanted. Buy that house, get that new car, whatever your goals are, right? Everybody's different. And to those people, I would also say the solutions are there. If you need to learn how to design properly and do it at a high quantity, right, every single day, the design course is there for you, POD design course. For those people, and $39.99. For those people who are struggling, and you have to look at your analytics, by the way. You have to look at your analytics, meaning, let's say you're getting a lot of impressions on your designs. This is why Google Analytics is very important. Let's say you're getting a lot of impressions on your designs, but you're not getting a lot of clicks. Then that means your design quality is not good enough, but your tags are good, or your titling is good, or however you're gaining the traffic. But let's say it's the opposite. Let's say you're not getting a lot of impressions, and out of the certain impressions that you do get, a lot of them are clicks. That means your designs are good, you just don't have enough traffic. And so you need to figure out how to boost your traffic, right? You need to figure out what your issue is. For the people that struggle with traffic and the amount of traffic, I'd recommend the Redbubble tag course. We've helped a lot of people doing it. It teaches you how to acquire the traffic. For the people that don't have that problem, like I said, who do get enough traffic, but they're just not getting enough clicks, POD design course will work good for you. You'll also be able to learn how to create many designs very quickly. In the video, in the course, I showed how I created 60 designs in 30-something minutes. There was a complaint that I consistently got every single day where people would say, I can't do this at scale. I could barely even do 10 designs a day. How on earth am I going to do 60 or 50 or whatever? And I said, let me show you how I do it. And let me show you how you get it done while making money. And so I showed that. So the point here is that these solutions are available for you. I'm not selling you. I'm just simply saying that they exist. If that's something you struggle with, check it out. You don't have to, I'm not trying to sell you. Like I said, it's not going to change my life whatsoever. Now, when we talk about scale and you do these things at a high level, over time you will see results. There is just simply there's no argument here. If you're creating the right designs that are good looking and you're actually getting people to visit your products, you will make money, especially if you're doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. A lot of people, I've get messages from people saying, oh my God, I have 200 designs, I haven't made any money. That means something is lacking. And in your case, it could be multiple things and not just one thing. It could be both your design quality and your tags are just not proper. It's just different things. There was an individual who commented not too long ago that said, I have over 4,000 designs. I haven't made a single sale. I clicked on this person's store. I looked through his tags. Every single one of his tags were terrible. Absolutely terrible. If you search for his design, you would never find it. And I said, well, obviously, in my head, I'm thinking to myself, obviously, you're not going to make a single sale because you're competing with people that you will never be found in. You will never be seen in. Right? And so my point is that you have to be able to master all three. Now, once you get to this point where you're ready to move on for the promotional aspects, you have blogging, you have, like I said, in social media. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Now, let's just go ahead and talk about other cheat codes that don't include this stuff. Well, there are things that I do to make my life easier. I'll give you an example. With print on demand, sometimes, if I'm feeling lazy that day and I don't want to sit there and manually create the designs, I have the Unlimited tool. The Unlimited tool, as you guys can see right here, I can search for images, and I've made videos for free on this, where I can search for images, use those images, turn them into paintings, or even just upload them straight out, and I get paid when they're sold. So I'll give you an example. I'll search for the word horse here, okay? I search for horse. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to find me images, or they're going to get me the right images that I can use for print on demand. I'm legally allowed to do this for print on demand. So I'll give you an example. Let's say there's a doctor's office that is brand new and they need some paintings, or they need some photos or canvases or whatever. Well, if they search for horse painting or horse canvas or horse photography, whatever, guess what's going to pop up? One of the print-on-demand sites that's very common, Society6, Redbubble, whatever. And they're going to have a collection of different pages, different photos, different whatever that has these kind of things, right? And let's say I decide to make 100 different designs with this, where I don't even have to work hard. I just download the image and upload it. This is a cheat code, right? I can take an image like this, not pixelated, looks great, take it, either convert it into a painting or just upload it the way it is to, let's say, Society6. And let's say somebody wants to buy a photograph of this so that they can frame it. They can put it in a picture for their doctor's office, whatever the case may be. If it's Redbubble, maybe they want to buy a print, right? Whatever kind of print they want. I can do that, and that is another example of a cheat code. For everybody who's interested in this, the link is, I'll leave my affiliate link in the description, but botsandapps.gumroad, you scroll all the way down, and it's right here. This tool, unlimited copyright free, unlimited copyright free images, premium stock photography membership. They tell you exactly what you can use it for, commercial purposes, and the first 200 customers get a discount. There you go. So this is an example of a cheat code. Another example of a cheat code that we've already mentioned is the Instagram bots. So I'll give you an example, and I'll just mention this very quickly because I don't want this video to extend for too long. But Instagram is a place where there is a lot of selling. In fact, there is no social media where you can sell more through Instagram. Instagram is very, very useful for selling. So you create a profile around concepts of what you're selling. So this is exactly why I say it's important, or it helps you to have a niche store. If you have a store that's focused around one niche, one large niche with sub-niches within it, right? Like let's say my niche is Christianity. That's my niche. I can have different sub-niches within it. I can create Christian quotes, Christian art, Christian whatever, right? And I can post these designs not only on my Instagram, but also on my Redbubble. And then what I could do is my Instagram is going to promote my Redbubble store. And since it's all in the same niche, I don't have to worry about driving traffic from all different areas. I can use that one account for that one store and promote the hell out of it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an Instagram bot to target certain Christian markets. So for example, if I'm a Christian, let's say I sell Christian clothing, I'll type in #Christian merch as an example. These are other people who are selling Christian merchandise. And I can click on a photo, right? And I can see the fan base of that photo, and I can interact with that very fan base. Does this make sense? This is all from igbots.org. botsandapps.gumroad.com. So I could pull up this list of people and I can interact with every single person on this list who happened to like the photo of the product that's being sold. Isn't that genius? Like, I would have to pay thousands of dollars to do this with advertising, but instead I could pay $20 a month or $119 one-time payment, and I don't have to worry about any other payments, and I can use this for a very long period of time, right? Forever, basically. So my point here is that when you guys do this, there are certain cheat codes. There are certain things that can make life easier. Another simple example is using different softwares, different design softwares. Instead of using a free software like GIMP that's going to drive me nuts and I have to upload fonts and I have to do all these different crazy things, or even Adobe, I can go on something like Canva or Kittl, where even Kittl, right? You can design and people have done designs for you. So my point is that the more money you have, obviously, in this business, it helps because you get access to tools that other people don't have access to. There's no question about it. There's no negotiations. This is the truth, right? The guy who's using, for example, let's just use an example, GIMP. The guy who's designing with GIMP is not going to be able to create nearly as many designs as the guy who's using Canva, right? At a certain level. I mean, it's just a pure fact. There's no argument about this, right? The guy who's sitting there manually clicking on a button over and over and over again could eventually get banned, while I'll be using the tool and I won't have to worry about that, right? Because I'm not acting like a bot, because there's enough gap in between each action for me. You get what I'm saying? These tools help you. Are they required? Absolutely not. They're simply cheat codes. They help you through the process. Are they going to make a difference between $1,000 and $90,000? Maybe yes, maybe no. It just depends on the person, especially the circumstance. Because if we're talking about over a period of years, then I would say yes. If we're talking about a period of months, absolutely not. Both of them are not going to make 90 grand regardless in a period of months, in a couple of months, right? But what I'm saying is it does give you a distinct advantage. There's no question about it. But before you get into those cheat codes, try to master as much as you possibly can these three things, because what's going to happen is when you get into those cheat codes, you're going to become jaded. You're going to look at print on demand in an unnatural point of view. You're not going to understand the true value of what it is to have a very attractive design, or a properly done tagging method or titling method or something like that, and doing it at scale. You're not going to understand the value of that. Why? Because you're already infiltrating the system with artificial sales. Now, something about artificial sales using the cherry on top, the fourth core tenet, right? There's a huge advantage of this, because what happens is we have the boosting effect. And what the boosting effect is for example, on Redbubble.com, if let's just say let's use the word Shrek, for example. This is not a good example. Let's just say the word Shrek. Let's say I create a design for the word Shrek, right? Or no, let's forget Shrek. Let's use Gingerbread Man, okay? 23,000 designs. Let's say the very first design that I create is not on page 1. It's on page 6, let's just say. If that's the case, what I could do is I could promote it through social media, through a blog, whatever, create a sale, and now the algorithm knows to move me up a number of steps. This is another cheat code that I want to talk about, which is the Bots and Apps favorite automation tool. So the Redbubble favorite automator, which you can get monthly, quarterly, every 6 months, yearly, this is a tool that you can go out there, favorite other people's works, and get favorite. That's originally what it was designed for. You favorite other people's works, you hit this little favorite button, and then you get favorites back from people. Well, what I did instead is I knew that I have multiple Redbubble accounts. So why should I waste time waiting for other people to favorite my work back when I could just favorite my own work and boost my ranking that way? So all I'm saying is all these different tools and these different ideas, these are methods to help boost yourself with the income, with the success, with things like that, to make your life easier. Are they a requirement? No. But can they jade you? Absolutely. You can use Instagram, for example, and let's say in a period of a month, you create 40 sales. Let's say without the Instagram tool, you would have only had 2 sales or 3 sales or 10 sales. Well, at that point, you're going to look at Instagram like it's your full-on business. You're not going to look at print on demand like it matters anymore. You're going to look at Instagram. And then from that point on, you're going to care less about the design. You're going to care less about the tags the proper way. You're going to care less about creating tens of, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of designs, right? Some people, when I say the word thousands of designs, they start to freak out and they go into a seizure mode and they say, you can't do that much. That's unreal. They go crazy. But what I'm trying to say is you guys get the point here is what I'm trying to say is they're relying on the steroids without putting in the actual hard work. And we know that's a recipe for a disaster, because what if that steroid is not accessible to you anymore? Then what happens is your business deflates, literally. Just like the bodybuilder who's juicing them up with steroids, but no diet, no working out, no cardio, no nothing. And then when they get off the steroids, they look like a 80-year-old man because they have no muscles because they're relying on the steroids. That's kind of my point here, right? They didn't develop it naturally. If you develop this naturally and you jump into the steroids after, you're going to create a killing of a business. But if you jump right into the steroids, yeah, you're going to be doing great right away, but you're not going to really understand what it takes to have your heart and soul into it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully this video was extremely beneficial. I basically laid out all the different plays. I didn't think it was going to take this long, but hey, we did it. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.